Hello students. So let's start with our today's class of class 12 biology. So we have started with lesson 2, sexual reproduction in flowering plants, and regarding that we have started with the pre-fertilization events in which we have studied the structure of male reproductive part, the internal structure of anther that I have given you as homework also to draw the internal structure of anther, and also the formation of microspore, that is microsporogenesis. And after the formation of pollen grains, the next step is the transfer of pollen grains from male reproductive part to female reproductive part. That process is called pollination, but pollination we will take up later. First we will discuss in detail the structure of female reproductive part. So here you can see the female reproductive part or organ is also called as carpel or pistil, as we have already discussed. So it is called as carpel or pistil. So carpel or pistil. Now we will study the structure of the female reproductive organ, megasporangium, and the process of formation of megasporangium, that is called megasporogenesis. Like in the previous session we have discussed microsporogenesis, because micro word is used in case of male reproductive organ and the formation of male gametes. Now we will study the female reproductive organ and formation of female gamete. That is why we will use the term megasporogenesis. So first let us see the structure of pistil. So pistil, first the pistil or carpel, other name is carpel. So the arrangement of pistils or carpels in a flower is called gynoecium. So the gynoecium term is used for the arrangement of pistils or carpels in a flower. So in this case, if the gynoecium has only single pistil, then it is called monocarpellary, and if it contains more than one pistil, then it is called multicarpellary. This we have already done in class 11. So single pistil or carpel is called monocarpellary condition. More than one pistil is called multicarpellary condition. So monocarpellary condition, example is hibiscus flower. When you will see hibiscus flower, you will find there is a single carpel in that. And multicarpellary, in which more than one pistils are present. Depending upon that, if the pistils are fused together, the condition is called syncarpus. You are already aware about this. And if the pistils are free, then it is called apocarpus condition. So syncarpus condition is found in papaver flower and apocarpus is found in Michelia flower. I will show you this. So as you can see here, given in your book, the first one is showing the hibiscus flower having single pistil. The second two conditions are showing the syncarpus condition, sorry, not the syncarpus, the multicarpellary condition, in which more than one pistils are present. Now the first one is syncarpus condition and second one is apocarpus condition. In the first case, here you can see the ovary is the pistils are multicarpellary. There are many pistils present there, but all these are fused with each other. So this condition is syncarpus, as we have discussed in papaver flower. And in this case, the pistils are there, but the carpels or pistils are there, but they are not fused with each other. Here you can see them separately. So this condition is apocarpus condition, and it is found in Michelia flower. So this is the diagram given in your book. Now let us see the structure of the carpel. As we have already discussed, it is made up of three parts. The upper one, which has a platform structure, is called stigma. The central stalk-like structure is called style, and the lowermost bulged structure is called ovary. So this stigma is for collecting the pollen grains which will come for the pollen tube formation inside them. Style is the connection between stigma and ovary, and ovary is the part which is attached to this thalamus. Inside the ovary there are megasporangium or ovule. The ovule can be single or maybe more than one. For example, in plants like wheat, mango, there is single ovary, single ovule, and in the plants like papaya, watermelon, orchids, there are many ovules. These ovules will later form the seeds, and inside the ovule the female gamete is there. We will discuss in detail later. And style can be either hollow or maybe solid from inside. If it is hollow, the pollen tube will pass through the style, and if it is solid, the pollen tube has to dissolve the cells inside the style and then it will pass across the style. And inside the ovary there is an ovule which is also called megasporangium. Now we will see the structure of megasporangium in detail. So here you can see the megasporangium, also called as ovule. It is present inside the ovary. And in angiospermic plants, the most common type of ovule is anatropous, which is upside down. So let us see the structure of an anatropous ovule. So here you can see this is the ovary part, and the tissue by which the ovule is connected to ovary is called placenta. So this tissue is called placenta. So there are different kind of arrangement of ovules inside the ovary. This one is the anatropous ovule, the most common type. Now from this placenta, this attachment which will connect this ovule with the placenta is called, this structure is called funicle. It is called funicle. Now this funicle tissue, it will extend slight towards the ovule and is called raphe. It is called raphe. Now this point of attachment at which this funicle will attach this ovule with the placenta is called hilum. This point is called, not with the placenta, with the funicle. So the point of attachment of ovule with the funicle is called hilum. So this point is called hilum. Now let's come to the structure. So here you can see the ovule has these two layers. The outer one is called outer integument and the inner one is called inner integument. So this type of ovule is called bitegmic ovule, which has two integuments in it. Is it clear? This ovule is called bitegmic because it has two integuments in it. Now inside the integument, the integuments are not fused with each other. There is a small structure you can see here, the small opening where the two integuments are not attached or fused. This opening is called micropyle. So this opening is called micropyle. Now this inside the ovule, this circular oval shaped structure which is present enclosed in the ovule is called nucellus. This is actually a nutritive tissue which will later provide nutrition to the growing embryo. So this nucellus is made up of all the cells. This tissue is called nucellus. And the end of ovule just opposite of the micropyle is called chalazal end. This is called chalazal end. So is it clear? The structure is clear. So this is the point at which the ovule will attach with the placenta called funicle. The tissue extended of funicle towards the ovule is called raphe. The point of attachment of the ovule with the funicle is called hilum. This structure is called ovule, which has two layers or membranes called integument. Outer one is called outer integument, inner one is called inner integument. This structure is bitegmic. The end where the integuments are not present is called micropyle end, and the end just opposite to micropyle is called chalazal end. And the tissue enclosed inside the oval shaped structure, or the tissue enclosed inside the ovule, is called nucellus. So this is a structure of ovule, and this ovule will later form the future seed. If you can see a seed like kidney bean or rajma, and this is the rajma seed, when you will see this part, the front part, then there are 3 openings or scar like structures present. The lower one is the micropyle, which is a small opening. Upper to micropyle is the hilum part, and upper to hilum is called raphe. These 3 structures are easily visible in a large size kidney bean seed. So these 3 scar-like structures are easily visible because they are actually formed from this ovule, because ovule will later form the seed. Now let us see the process of formation of female gametophyte inside an ovule. So let us start with the next topic, that is megasporogenesis and development of female gametophyte. As we have discussed about the structure of ovule, that is the anatropous ovule found in the flowering plants, now let us discuss the process of megasporogenesis and development of female gametophyte. So you know that as we have discussed in case of anthers, the formation of microspores. Now here we will use the term megaspores because they are related with the female reproductive part. So the process of formation of megaspores from megaspore mother cell or MMC is called megasporogenesis. As you know that in that case, in case of male reproductive part, we have used the term microspores, which was originated from microspore mother cell, but now they are megaspores, so they will be originated from megaspore mother cell. So as we have discussed the structure of ovule, now in the ovule you know that these are the 2 layers, and the end towards which is not covered with the integument is called micropylar end, and the opposite end is the chalazal end. It is an anatropous ovule. So inside this, the structure is the nucellus. Will not label each and every part again, as we have discussed already. So out of these cells of the nucellus, one of the cell that is towards the micropylar end will act as the microspore mother cell. So it will act as a microspore mother cell. Out of this whole nucellus tissue, one cell will act as a microspore mother cell. Here you can see that will be towards the micropylar end. Now I will show you this cell here. So this is microspore mother cell, and each and every cell of the ovule is diploid in nature. So it should be remembered, it should be keep in mind that each and every cell of the nucellus or ovule is diploid in nature. So out of this, the MMC, this is the MMC, I am showing it here. So it is diploid in nature. So you know that during spore formation, the cell division process is meiosis. So they will undergo meiosis. Due to meiosis, the 4 cells will be formed. So these 4 cells are, here you can see 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the chalazal end and this is the micropylar end. I have shown it directly in the same direction. Chalazal end, micropylar end. Now in that case where microspores will be formed, microspores formed, they can be arranged themselves in the various forms like tetrahedral or isobilateral, but in this case only linear arrangement is there. Macrospores are always arranged in a linear manner, and this is called macrospore tetrad because here also there are 4 macrospores which are arranged in a linear manner. But not unlike that microspore tetrad, they are always linear. Now out of these 4, in microspores formation, there was all 4 were functional. They all 4 formed the microspores later, and later the male gametophyte. But in this case, out of these 4, only 1 will be functional, that is towards micropylar end, and the all other 3 which are towards chalazal end will be degenerated. So here you can see the degenerating microspore, first three, which is towards chalical end, and surviving megaspore, sorry not microspore, megaspore, and the one which is towards micropylar end is called surviving megaspore. Now this is till this, the process is called macrosporogenesis. Now we will see the development of female gametophyte. After this, one of the macrospore from the tetrad will become functional. Now you can see here. So this is the functional macrospore, and it is haploid in nature because it has undergone meiosis. So this haploid macrospore, which is functional, will undergo karyokinesis. Karyokinesis means nucleus will divide but not cytoplasm, and it will undergo 3 times karyokinesis before cytokinesis. So here we have one nucleus, one will divide into 2, 2 will form 4, and 4 will form 8. So it has been undergone 3 times karyokinesis. So here you can see the structure. Now this macrospore has been converted into a oval shaped structure, and it has 8 cells in it. So these have, sorry, not cells, nuclei. So it is not celled, it is 8 nuclei structure. So this structure is a 8 nuclei stage where there is no cytoplasm around each nucleus, but the nuclei are in this condition. Now this structure will undergo cytokinesis. During cytokinesis, the cytoplasm will divide and accumulated around each and every nucleus. Now you can see out of these 8 nuclei, the 3 will shift it towards chalical end, and the 3 will shift it towards micropylar end, and 2 will remain in the center. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 2 in the center. When the cytokinesis will occur, it will not be equally around all the cells. Here you can see it has been occurred towards around the upper 3 and the lower 3, but in the center a single cytoplasm will be formed around 2 nuclei. So here you can see this structure is a, how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So 7 cells and how many nuclei? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many nuclei? 8 nuclei. This structure is called 7-celled 8-nucleated structure. Now let us see what are these cells called. The upper 3 cells which are towards the chaliza are called antipodal cells. So they are called antipodal cells. And the cells which is towards micropylar end, the first 2 at the periphery are called synergids. They are called synergids. And in the center one, the cell is called egg. It is called egg cell, which will act as the female gamete for fertilization further. And these synergids along with the egg cell together are called egg apparatus. So they are called egg apparatus. And the cell in the center is called central cell. This cell is called central cell, and it has 2 nuclei in it. These 2 nuclei are called polar nuclei. So they are called polar nuclei. So is it clear? This structure which is formed after this division, cytokinesis, karyokinesis is called now it is called as female gametophyte, or other name of it is embryo sac. So it is called embryo sac or female gametophyte, and it is a 7-celled 8-nucleated structure which is a characteristic feature of an angiospermic flower. Now here I have written a term monospermic. No, monosporic. Monosporic, this embryo sac or female gametophyte is called monosporic because it has been originated from a single spore. Because out of these 4, the 3 has been degenerated and only 1 was left, which has given rise to this embryo sac. That is why it is called monosporic in nature. So this is all about the development of female gametophyte. In your NCERT book, the same topic is given but the diagram is different. So it is up to you. You can draw this diagram or you can draw that diagram which is given in your book. So your homework will be the same, that you will draw this development of female gametophyte as well as the structure of ovule in your notebook, as well as I will share one video with you in which the process of male gametophyte and female gametophyte formation is given, so that it will be animation is given so that it will be more clear to you. That's all for today.